the course of the year.
And I use
Thanks,
that term
Mark.
lately.
Did Joel give you anything good?
What are you
for
doing?
If these walls could talk, he can be funny.
You need a pencil?
He's really good at cursing, but he's also plays it.
All right,
close
what
to
is
the vest.
Slope?
Did he give you anything?
Not much, but a lot of people gave me good stuff about him. And one of my favorite chapters is his,
Yeah, I'll know what Slope
the
is,
dynamics
right?
between him and Chris Versteeg in his first year. And how much
Yeah,
he
it's
loves
Rise
and
Over. You
absolutely
probably
loves
know it as
All right,
Rise
so
Over
keep us about the
Ron.
book. If these walls could talk, stories from the Blackhawks ice, locker room, and press box. Mark Lazarus covers the Hawks for the Sun-Times. Thank you. Mark.
How about
Appreciate your time.
change
There's a
of
bye
why?
week, but we are still going to talk to Jim Miller because there are
Over the
quarterback
change in
conversations
X.
to be had, and this guy knows the
Anything
league.
else that you guys called
he
it?
hosts
Left or
on the
right?
NFL
Over,
Network
I
every
mean,
day
up or
with
down,
Pat
over
Kerwin.
left or right?
He's watching the
on Sirius
entirety.
NFL Network
A
Radio.
over B,
that's
is
what I
that
meant.
another way you
He's-
guys
He's
learned it?
watching everything and can help us figure out some of the stuff we've seen yesterday.
I
Up
wanna
or
know who the
down,
second best team in the
over
NFC
left
is,
or right?
things like that. So we'll talk general NFL with Jim Miller coming up. Yes, salute, of course. Spiegel and Parkin's on the score.
Okay. The way that you should, or the mathematical way, is the change of y, and we denote that with delta y. The change of y over the change in x over delta x. And that's just a Greek symbol that means change.
Tom was always dependable. If he needed to move a couch...
Now, the biggest part that one of the biggest mistakes students make is because the ordered pair, you've been learning and working with the ordered pair x comma y, the x's come first, right? In slope, your y's are on
How should
top,
I know he'd take my advice? But he
and
did.
the x's change
He
of x.
called it's just lunch, and now, well, it's all sorry, man. I've got plans. I'd love to, but got another
No.
date that night. So
Not
yeah,
when you're
nice
dealing with
work.
slope.
It's just lunch.
It's always
Thanks to
the
you, it
change
looks
of
like
y
I'll
over
be
the change
resodding
of
the yard
x. Good
myself
question.
next weekend.
Okay. Also, you're probably familiar with there are a number of equations for a line. The most useful one for mathematics is the slope-intercept.
Pieces of research. When growing your business, you need the right tools to help you build beyond the solid foundation you've set. Canon Maxify Small Office and Home Office inkjet printers provide the tools to get the work done.
And in math, we're not English majors.
Your individual business needs in mind.
So when we say slope-intercept,
will help you take your small business to the next level.
it's pretty straightforward. It must have the slope and the y-intercept. It's y equals mx plus b.
Canon Maxify printers. Your business is yours to make.
Hi, it's me. That little voice inside your head. You spent all
The slope is the m,
business. Let Office Depot Office
and it can
Max
be
take
found
over
next to the
There's this
variable
new
y,
HP
x.
laptop
Sorry,
with 8th generation Intel Core i5 processor.
That's
Save
my
$200
slope,
Now
the m.
just $449. Look at
And the
it.
b
It's
is the
only
y-intercept.
$449 at Office Depot
Might as well
Office
write that down.
Go ahead. You deserve it.
So the b is the y-intercept. Now, what do I mean by y-intercept?
MBA.edu.
Hi. Do you have an old car you don't use anymore? Don't let it just hang around. Do something good with it. Donate to Cars for Kids, whether your car is running
Anybody?
or not. The
Bueller?
awesome peeps at Cars for Kids will accept it in any condition and tow it away at no cost to you. Besides being a quick and easy way to get rid of your car, your donation will go directly to help kids this back-to-school season. Cars for Kids educational and youth programs impact thousands across the
All
country.
right, intercept
throughout
is
the
where
year.
it crosses
So if you have a
y.
car you're looking to unload but no time to deal with it, call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or visit carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. And see how easy it is to make a difference. Cars for Kids makes donation pleasant and hassle-free with pickup at a time that's convenient for you.
Well,
Call
let's
us
look at
quick
the
and
example.
impact is real.
Okay.
Remember, that's
Example A,
877 Cars for Kids or online
7
at carsforkids.com. There's no
is
easier
my
way to get your
y-intercept,
driveway
right?
back. So take a
So
minute
v
to call now
equals
or
7.
just do it online. Do it
My
for yourself
slope
and do it for the kids.
is the coefficient of x. So my slope equals 2.
Taz Show, my live daily show. Multi-time pro wrestling champion.
Slope-intercept is one of the easiest ways to draw a line on a graph. That's why you must know the form. Now, sometimes they'll switch a couple of things up.
To 10 a.m. Eastern. Or listen anytime on demand at TazShow.com.
Well, we want, when we're dealing with slope-intercept, it's just really good practice to put the X term first. So I'm going to change this. This is my X term, negative 3X. And then I have a positive 2 or plus 2. That equals my Y. So what's my slope for this one? Yeah, my slope is negative 3. What's my Y-intercept? I know it's not asking for it, but what is it? If my slope is negative 3, yeah, my Y-intercept is 2.
Dan Bernstein and Jason Goff. Afternoon.
How about the third one, or C?
I counted.
He's
unbelievable. I counted 3. Absolutely.
No calls, too.
Yeah, slope is 2/3, and my B is negative 5. It crosses the Y-axis at negative 5. Now, one thing about slope. I put 3 here and 2 here. When we use slope, when we go to graph a line, we always put it in a fraction. Okay? So if you put 2 or 2 over 1, both are correct. Okay? When you go to graph this, you'll need the 2 over 1. It's up to you. You could, as in general, slope is a fraction. When you use it as a slope.
670thescore.com, Chicago's sports station.
I don't care. Really, it doesn't matter to me. Yep, you can put it in a fraction or you can leave it as whole. But just realize that slope is, when you go to use it, it's a fraction. Let's do some more. D, what's my slope? 1. Good.
Studio. I'm Joe Ostrowski. Coach Fitz and the Cats are back at right field this Saturday.
What's my Y-intercept?
Versus Purdue. Tickets are on sale at nusports.com. Bears are 3-5.
How about
to the second half of the season.
Guys understood how close we are, and much like the.
Yeah, this is a little tricky.
In the locker room.
Okay. Whenever we have a variable in the numerator, now think back to, I think it was section 1.5 in Unit 1. We had our variables in the top of fractions. And what we did was, did you guys pull that coefficient out? Okay, it's a 1/2. Since it's in the numerator, I can pull that X out. It's just like a whole number multiplied by a fraction. In fact, that's what it is.
CBS Sports reports that the Vikings will likely activate Teddy Bridgewater on Sunday, but Case Keenum will continue
my
to be their
slope
starting quarterback. And in
is
baseball,
1/2. What's my Y-intercept?
Qualifying offers to Jake Arrieta and Wade Davis
-5.
to ensure draft pick compensation.
How about F?
Go elsewhere. This Scoreboard Update is brought to you by First American
Good.
Bank.
1/3.
More for your money.
And what's my B?
Greetings from Volvo. This holiday season, celebrate the beauty of family with holiday offers on cars like the XC90.
G.
With more standard features.
Now you
and
can
best
change this
in-class
around.
Safety, you can keep the ones
-3x
who matter
plus
most
4.
safe. I'm Joe Ostrowski, and you're listening to 670.
You don't have to.
Celebrating 25 years of Chicago.
So my slope
and the #1 ranked sports station in Chicago, 670
and my
The Score,
B
and 670thescore.com, Chicago sports station.
This hour on The Score is brought to you by Bland's Farm and
H.
Fleet. Jim.
What's
Jim.
my slope?
Jim Miller.
He's moving. He's got all of extremities.
What's my
Former
Y-intercept?
Bears quarterback.
Touchdown! Touchdown Bears!
Our Monday
I-
morning quarterback.
Let's go in the huddle. Let's go 0 slot.
Slope
out.
is
Check
0.
with me, stretch 6 or counter 35.
And my
With
Y-intercept
Spiegel and Parkins on The Score.
and J.
Quarterback. He's got a show on Sirius NFL Radio. You see him
B
on
of A.
TV with Lawrence Holmes over at NBC Sports
Slope is
Chicago
0.
doing
Good.
Bears pre and post. He joins us on the Grossinger Auto Group hotline. Find over 5,000 vehicles every day.
And I can rewrite this, can't I?
Com.
Since
Jim,
0
really
times X is
appreciate the
just
time.
0, 0 plus
Who
2
is
is
the
just
second
2.
best team in the NFC? I know it's a weird.
That's
place to start,
why
but I honestly don't have an
And
answer.
J, my
Well,
slope is
I
0.
do like
Because the
Minnesota.
coefficient
You
of my
look at their
X
defense
is
and
0. We normally
how they've
don't
done
put
it. They're
0
down to a
plus
third
8.
string quarterback who's playing pretty well right
By the
now.
way,
Looking
what kind of,
close to their
what kind of
offensive
line do I
line
have
is
if I have
okay,
a
but I
slope
like their receiving threats with Kyle Rudolph at tight end and Theo.
It is
and
horizontal
and what
or
those guys
vertical.
can
It's
do.
one
So
of the two.
I really think Pat Shurmur has really done a good job. Philadelphia's running away with it. Dallas can probably make it interesting if they get hot, but who knows with the Ezekiel Elliott. So I would probably go
Now I'm
either
just confusing you. Huh?
Minnesota or
If my
the
Y value is
Broncos,
always
hot team
8 on
right
a
now.
graph.
Yeah, Minnesota barely even got a mention the first time we had this conversation in the 9 o'clock hour, which speaks to the ridiculousness of the conference right now. How about Seattle, who got beat at the end of the game, gave up lots of yards and a big touchdown?
Okay,
for the
here's my
second week in a
y-axis.
row. Deshaun Watson 1 week, and then Kirk
X-axis.
Cousins just rolling
If
down
my
the field
Y
against them.
value
Seattle just hasn't been themselves. They've given up a lot of big chunks of rushing
is
yards.
always
which is not
8.
what they've been known for. They're not as stout in their front seven as what they used to be. And then you look even.
So
the big
say
player in
I've
the
got
pass play, Shaq
X2,
Griffin,
my Y
their
value is
rookie
8.
corner kind of gets exposed and
X
Doxson
value is
gets
4, my
behind
Y
him.
is
Seattle can
8,
rectify it. They're
6,
always a team
8.
that kind of.
I'm going to
You
have
know,
what
this is
kind of
kind of
line?
when they get hot.
Horizontal.
Their offense
Good.
has just been kind of muddling along, and you're always asking yourself, if you can play like that the last 2 minutes of the game offensively, why can't you do that for the other, 50 minutes of the
Hang on,
game?
I'll get there in a minute.
So
So if I
Seattle,
have
I'm
a
not gonna
slope
count
of
them out,
0,
but they have not looked like themselves.
I
all year
have
long.
a
Do you
horizontal
think
line.
this type of parity is good or bad for the NFL?
I think it's good. I think just a lot of teams I think are just kind of emerging.
So I have
right
a
now.
horizontal
Sports is
line,
starting to see
slope
some
is
identity,
0.
of
I
something.
always have
And
the
a lot of that,
equation of Y equals
I
a
just think
number.
it's
In
the
this
less
case, it's Y
practice
equals
time,
8.
the preparation, the practice,
Now,
where guys can hone
what
their
about
skills,
X equal
where
E?
it's kind of been somewhat sloppy football. And I think it's been that way the past couple of years, but down the stretch and come playoff
Yeah,
time,
we'll get to
that's
M
when
in a
teams
minute.
will start to
What
show
kind of
up
line
and
do I
play
have?
much better, because obviously the have-nots will be no longer hanging around. It'll just be about the good teams.
Remember, my X is always 8.
Of this league, right? Because of the
So my
practice
Y
time,
value can
a lot
change.
of teams don't even
Here's
get
Y
rolling
equals,
and get comfortable
here's
till the end of the year, and then by
8,
then a third
1,
of their roster
8,
is
2,
hurt.
8,
You know, so you
5.
achieve a level of
So what kind of line do I have?
at times. Where are we on the Rams?
This is
who
X equal
we
8.
figured could run the ball with Todd
A
Gurley.
vertical
And
line.
now have a guy throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in golf. I mean, they went out and they got him a tackle and a center and a new coach and 3 wide receivers, and all of a sudden this is
So I have a
him,
vertical
a
line.
reliever?
Yeah, I am
Slope.
a believer. I think McVay
Well,
is doing a good job. He kind of handed over the defense to Wade
Think
Phillips.
about
We know what he
my
can do.
horizontal
He
line
was
has
playing in the
0,
top group.
and then
I
we're
am
making it a
surprised at
vertical
how
line,
quickly
right? So
their
we're
offense
increasing the
has
slope
caught
here,
fire. But
right?
Again, it kind of coincides
Now
with your
remember,
last
numbers
question.
go on
The
forever
one
and
thing
ever
about
and
the
ever.
NFL is you can have quick
So could I
turnarounds
actually
when you go
reach
from
a
worst to
number
first, kind of
with
like
a
what we're
vertical
seeing
line?
with the Rams
No,
out there. If
so
you
we
make
call
good
it
off-season acquisitions
undefined
in free
slope.
agency, you draft well, you really tailor your offense to the strengths
Vertical
of the
line
group of
has an
players
undefined
that you have,
slope.
and kind of let Wade Phillips do his deal. That's what's great about the NFL. You can turn it around very quickly, and that's exactly what the Rams have done.
Talking to Jim Miller, that's been my entire argument about the Bears, is that if Trubisky makes a leap, and they have a good
All right,
offseason,
slope.
both in the draft
Slope
and
can be
free
found in a
agency,
graph by
they're not
drawing
far
a
away
set
from
of
the playoffs.
points.
I totally agree. Love the Bears' defense right now. They're a top 10 defense.
along
I
the
think we know
line.
it's been
You
about
can
the
count
lack
the units of
turnovers,
change in
past
the
couple of years,
vertical
not giving the offense
direction.
good positions to be in position to score. But this year they're getting the turnovers, and now it's just a couple of tweaks on offense.
vertical
They got
direction.
to get more playmakers. We've talked about the receiving core.
And use it for the
training camp. I do
numerator.
like the depth of the O-line, even though it's been thinned
You
out.
can
with
count the
injuries
units of
as
change in the
lately. You can see it's
horizontal
sustainable because they have good depth on their offensive
direction
line.
and use it for
Howard's
the
doing a good job running
denominator.
the football. So I'm with you. A couple of missing pieces that could be filled. And yeah, they
When
could
you
be
have
right
a
back
graph
in,
with a line,
competing for hopefully
it's
the
easier
playoffs.
just
Boy,
to
that's
count
not
it
the
than to do
sensation
it
I got
algebraically.
watching yesterday and seeing some of the position
Just
groups
get
out
2
there on some
points
of the
where it
good
crosses
teams,
the
even
grid
last night. I
lines.
mean, obviously, I know that Raiders offensive line.
And then
there's a lot of money.
remember
there.
you do
So
rise
that
or the
Dolphins
Y
group
value
of
first,
wide
right? So I'm going to go
receivers,
up 1
I feel like the Bears are many, many pieces away
and to the right.
on offense, but they probably will have the
So
resources.
my slope
What do you
is
think?
1 over 1
2
or
free agent
1.
wide
You can
receivers
put 1
plus
now.
draft 1.
I think one big time one definitely, and then you draft another guy that you can
That's what?
really bring along. Probably Wheaton. They expected more from him. I can't. It's hard to blame him. He breaks his pinky, then he has the groin issue, and he had the appendectomy. I mean, that's just kind of happens.
You're trying to make an equation.
Wide
We'll
receivers
do that
probably go after a
a
veteran
little later.
and then draft a
You're
young
right.
guy who needs to be a stud.
Okay, number 2. We're just
Jim
looking
Miller
for
on
slope.
the score. Who's the best defense in the
I'm going to go
NFL?
up 1, 2, 3.
That's tough right now.
I'm gonna
There's
go
there's
up
groups that
3.
are playing well. I definitely like Minnesota.
But I'm going to the
Philadelphia
left
is
1.
rocking it, obviously, with what Jim Schwartz.
So what
brings.
am I going
That group is
to
probably, I
put
would
in
probably
front of
say
that
that's
run?
the best
1
to
to
designate probably
designate
put
left.
Minnesota
Yeah.
at number 2
Going
right now. I
negative.
really like how those 2 units are playing.
So when I go to the left, it's
Jacksonville
negative.
is in this, or but maybe a more interesting
What
way
do you
to
think
ask
is
the
going to
question
make my
if
numerator negative?
Jacksonville had a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, right? They had above
If I'm going up here,
play.
it's
How good would
positive.
the Jaguars be?
That's
If
a
I
great
were to go
question, because
down-
that's what I think about them. I think they're a quarterback away.
Yeah.
You know, they just can't.
By the
trust
way,
Blake Bortles
you
to
could
get
go
in
either
in
way on
40,
the line.
40 attempt
You don't have to
shootout,
do both
you know,
because they're
he's
the
gonna
same.
make the costly mistake.
But
They-
a quarterback
3 over
away from a
negative
Super
1
Bowl
is
contender?
exactly the
Yeah,
same
I
as
think
negative
so.
3.
I think that team is that. I think that roster is pretty good. They probably need to get a little bit better on their offensive line, but the receivers are good.
no,
The
it's the
defensive
same-
roster, we'll
it's
see
the
how
same.
Darius really takes them, because that's a good, really good front seven that they have, and a really young
And the
secondary.
last
So,
one.
yeah, I definitely think, you know,
See,
they are
let's go from this
legitimately
point
a
to this
quarterback
point. So I'm
away,
gonna
and
go
they're probably going to be in the quarterback business
up one,
here
right
this
two.
offseason. But for them, if let's say if that team catches fire and it goes to the playoffs, it's
It's
gonna be
nice when you have a
strictly with
graph,
running the
'cause it's-
football
it's easy.
and playing great defense, because they can't.
What
put
if I don't have a
pressure
graph and have
on Blake Bortles?
just
If he
points?
has to make 4 to 5 plays with his arm, they've got no shot.
Then I have to
Come
do it
I just
algebraically.
think it's interesting because, like, are they going
Sorry,
to
guys.
draft a QB?
You have-
Are they going to
you
try
have to actually
trade
do some
for
work.
Alex Smith? Are they going to Drew
Yeah.
Brees, Eli Manning? Like, I wonder if they're going to
Take,
go
here's my
old
first
and, like,
point.
plug and
So
play,
here's
ready
my
to go
first
right
point,
now, or they're
X
gonna just
comma
try to
Y.
draft a young one?
But
I
to
think they would probably
distinguish
do
it
both.
from
I
the
would think they
second
want to sign a
point,
veteran and
I
then
have these little
cultivate
subscripts.
and bring a young guy along.
X1,
You know, they drafted the Brandon Allen
Y2.
kid out of Arkansas. I thought he was going to get a
Y1.
shot maybe coming out of training camp this year, but
And
they elected not to do so and
X2,
go with the
Y2.
experience. But man, they waited a long time to
To
put that
designate
fifth-year
my
option
second
on
point
Blake Bortles.
and my
So
first
it kind of proved that they don't.
So if I
believe
plug
in
them into
and
the
I think this is kind of been
formula,
showing itself here as the season has gone
my
along.
slope,
How did the
which
Tampa
is
Bay
M,
Buccaneers end up this broken?
Y2
everybody's pick
is
to
8
rise to a next level, and I was
minus
buying
my
it, and they just look
Y1
awful.
minus
They
my
really do.
Y1,
They're
which
just
is
a sloppy
3
unit. You know, they were banged up on their defense. I thought their
X2,
defense would be
which
much
is
better.
4
Noah Spence, all I heard was
minus
great
my
things coming out
X1,
of training camp, and saw him down at
which is
training
2.
camp, and he looked amazing.
And you
all of a
get
sudden, he's out with a
5
shoulder. They've
over
had a ton of
2.
injuries.
Make
in
sure
their
this is
secondary, but the
simplified.
biggest disappointment is, as you said, the offense. That offense should be performing much better than what it is. And
No,
I think you're
this
starting to
was-
see the separation between Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston. Winston has too
And
many
if you do
multi-turnover
3,000 of
games,
these,
and that is costing
should get the
Tampa Bay
hang of it.
games. And obviously, he's dealing with the bum shoulder right now. So we'll see where it goes. It looks like it could be Fitzpatrick time until Jameis is healthy again.
There's so many
my
quarterbacks that I
slope,
feel like you could put into this discussion.
1
If you were going to start a team tomorrow,
minus
everyone's
0
a free agent. Who's the number
over
one pick?
6 minus 5.
I like the idea. I think it depends on
I get
where
1
Kansas City
over
finishes
1
the offseason.
or 1.
'cause I do
Doesn't
think
matter
Alex
if you put
Smith
1
is going to
over
be a
1.
coveted commodity, whether it's in Washington, whether it's in Jacksonville that you just mentioned. What is Washington going to do?
Be
with
careful
Kirk
with your
Cousins? Does he
signs,
then
too.
End up in Jacksonville if they can't get a long-term deal. I think you bring up good points about Drew Brees. They may
C.
make a run, but I don't know if
My
they're
slope,
going to re-sign him again. With
X1,
where his age is at.
Y1,
I could definitely see a Drew
X2,
Brees
Y2.
landing with a team like
I got
like
Y2,
Miami,
which is
because,
negative
Adam
1
Gase likes the veteran
minus my
quarterback, so,
Y1, which
you know,
is
we'll see where
4
it goes. But to me, Alex Smith is going to be there's going to be a lot of discussions
3
about that quarterback in
minus
Kansas City,
my
and we'll
X1
to see
is
how their
negative
season
2.
ends, because that may be a quarterback they're moving on
If
from.
it's
I like the answer to that
Don't-
question. It
yeah.
wasn't the question that Danny asked, but I liked what we were
By all
talking about
means,
with
use a
Alex Smith, the way
calculator,
it could go, but
you know,
restate your question,
So
Danny.
I'm saying
you see how many mistakes I make.
So
It's
Carson
it's
Wentz,
really easy to
Deshaun
make
Watson,
mistakes
Aaron
with signs,
Rodgers,
especially
whatever.
with
I'm
signs.
curious who you think
Negative
the
1 minus
valuable
4,
commodity is in
negative
the NFL.
5.
I would build my team around
I got a
that.
double
Anything
negative,
else
so I'm
Smith,
adding 3
then-
plus 2 is 5. Anything over itself is 1, so it's negative 1. You could put negative 1 over 1 or just negative 1.
I would probably. I'm a big fan of Tom Brady. I still think he's playing at a high level, and if I'm building a football team, that would be my number one quarterback.
Even though he's that old.
Even though he's that old.
He wants to be. He wants
That
to be
should
the
give you
MVP in
enough examples
2022.
to do.
He does more with less than any QB in the NFL.
Actually,
He's a
it's
leader.
not
He gets guys fired
But
up.
let's finish
I
up
do
page
like,
2
you know,
in
I love
class,
what
okay?
Wentz is doing in the other
You got
young
enough time in
quarterbacks,
class to
certainly,
at least
but
do
I just
page
don't think
2.
Brady's playing
If
at
you
an extremely
finish
high
it,
level. He's
1,
taken more
2,
deep shots this year than any quarterback in the NFL. And he's
No, you're going to turn the whole packet
a
in
lot
when you're
more
done.
deep shots. So I still think
So
their
at
best
least get
offensive
page
football
2
is
done
played in
today,
New England.
and then
You think Brady's in the
page
NFL in 3
3
years?
and 4 done tomorrow.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
That's why they moved on from Garoppolo. So it tells you that.